Hello, Walking Dead fans. Solid Dave Snake, and I am bringing you a video on my top 5 most wanted action figures from the Walking Dead comic series line by McFarline Toys. And I actually did a video like this, I think it was in December, on my top 5 most wanted action figures for the Walking Dead out of the TV series. And I actually got 3 out of 5 of those right for the next wave. In Series 4, they're going to be releasing the Governor, Andrea, and Carl. And all 3 of those were on the top of my list. So let's see if I can't do the same thing with the comic book action figures. This is a lot different because it doesn't seem like they're going to be making as many waves as the comic book series. They're coming out with Series 2 next month, and it's going to have the Governor and Glenn in it. And Series 1 had Rick Grimes in his officer uniform and Michonne in it. So we've only got 4 characters so far out of the comic book. And there are a whole lot more characters to choose from in the comic book storyline than there is for the TV show. We're up to 110 issues now, so there's a good bit of characters to choose from. And actually, some of these on the list, people that watch the TV show may not even know who I'm talking about if you don't read the comic books, because they're pretty deep into the storyline. They're actually in DC now in the comic books. So there's a lot of characters out there. And let's just get into it here. My number 5 pick is going to have to be Andrea. And Andrea in the comic book is a lot different than her TV counterpart was. Handled a lot better. In some cases, I can say some characters are handled better in the show, but Andrea was definitely one of those characters that wasn't handled as well as she is in the comic book. She's still alive in the comic book universe to date, and she just died in the TV series in Season 3. But something that they never really touched on in the TV series is how good of a sniper Andrea becomes. And she really saves the group's ass a lot of the times in the comic books, and she's just one of those forefront characters that I think really deserves a action figure done. But Andrea is number 5. Number 4 is going to be a new character, probably the newest I have here on the list. And if you've been reading it, you'll know who I'm talking about. It is Ezekiel. And Ezekiel is kind of like a king of this community in D.C. And they literally act like a kingdom, like a medieval kingdom, where he's the king and his men ride around on horses and armor. But Ezekiel himself is a well-designed character, unique. He's black, looks Jamaican with dreadlocks, real colorful outfit on his first appearance on the cover that he was on. And he has a tiger. We just found out in the last issue that before the apocalypse and everything, he was a zookeeper. And that tiger he actually saved from the zoo. And he got into it a little bit with Michonne in that issue, and then they warmed up to each other and get to see that his walking stick has a sword inside of it. So I just think he'd be a really neat action figure design with how wild he looks, and if he came with freaking tiger, that would be great. And the cane with the sword in it. I just think that would really be neat. On to number 3. My number 3 spot is going to be filled by Jesus. And Jesus is a newer character as well in the comic book. He's part of another community where they're at in D.C. now called the Hilltop. And Jesus is just one badass character so far. I am loving this character. He's one of my new favorite characters. I've never seen him shoot a gun in the comic book. You haven't seen him shoot a gun yet. But he is awesome in hand-to-hand combat, almost like they haven't revealed it yet or anything, where his background is with his fighting style, but he just seems like a martial artist, like he did mixed martial arts or something before the apocalypse, because just the way he fights, he throws a lot of knees and elbows, and just real quick, and takes out people real sudden-like. Even zombies. I mean, he'll be throwing a jump kick and break a zombie's head off. They've done some wild stuff with him, and Jesus isn't his real name. I actually can't think of his real name in the comic book off the top of my head, but if you do, leave it in the comments if you know. But the reason why they call him Jesus is because he looks like Jesus Christ. He's got the long hair and beard look going on, so everybody is just taking to calling him Jesus, and he just goes with it. But a really neat character that I would like to see done in action figure format. Number 2, I have got Abraham at number 2, and wow, yeah, I would love to have an Abraham figure. A little more beefier character in the comic book. If you don't know who he is, he was a sergeant, I believe, in the Army, and just a real big burly guy, got a big mustache going on and everything, wields a big M16, well, M4, whatever you want to call it. It would just be great to get him in action, in an action figure with the big M16 and his camo bottoms. I think he usually wore a tank top over top, but I just think he would be a great character to do an action figure format. And spoiler alert, he actually isn't around in the comic book anymore. He got killed off by one of Negan's men. So he isn't in the storyline anymore, but I think he was important enough of a character for a while in the comic book to do a figure off of. And like I said, I just think he would be a neat design for an action figure. So we got Abraham at number 2, and that leaves us to number 1. My most wanted action figure for the Walking Dead comic book series has got to be Negan. He is the main villain in the storyline now, kind of like the new governor, and just an awesome, awesome villain. A lot different than the governor. He's maybe, I don't know, just as crazy or a little more crazy. But just the way that he carries himself and talks, he'll just crack you up if he's in an issue. Just some of the stuff he says and acts, very unpredictable. Very, very unpredictable in the comic books. But he would be great for an action figure. He's just got a great design going on, real big like Abraham, kind of like a leader of a mafia type. That's basically what him and his group of saviors are, kind of like just strong-arming communities around them for their supplies, offering protection from the walkers for half of their supplies every month or so. But his accessories would be great as well. If you don't know, from issue 100 when he first appears, his bat that he calls Lucille, it's a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire. That would be a great accessory to come with them. And also the iron, if you know what I'm talking about, from the comic book where he burns the guy's face off, punishes him with a hot iron. I just think those would be 2 neat accessories to come with them. And he would just, I think he would look really good in action figure format from his design in the comic book. But that's my top 5. We'll run down them again. Number 5, I got Andrea. Number 4, I got Ezekiel. Number 3, I have Jesus. Number 2, I have Abraham. And number 1, I have Negan. And there's a huge character list to choose from the comic book. I mean, they could make endless hero toys out of the comic book series. Some honorable mentions. Maybe a Lori Carl combo, or Lori and Judith combo action figure. Shane, even though he didn't have that big of a part to play in the comic book as he did the TV series, might be neat to get a Shane out there. Maybe one that turns into a zombie or something would be cool. Tyrese, he had a big part to play in the comic book. He's one that actually was right up there. He might have been my number 6 pick. He was right on the cusp there. Axel from the comic books, he was a little different. Definitely looked different. He was fat in the comic books, and in the TV show he was very skinny. Morgan had a big part to do in the comic books after the prison story arc. And just a newer character, I think Dwight might be a neat action figure. Very unlikely to ever get him, I think. He's kind of a B or C list character, but just with the way he has half of his face burned, I think that might look neat as an action figure. But let me know what you guys think, if you agree with me, maybe what your top 5 are, and I appreciate you watching, guys. We got the next wave coming out in June, so I'm excited. I'll be out with reviews of those whenever they first come out. I'll pick them up. So, thanks, guys.